Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We've got some great guests today. We're talking to two folks, the COO and CEO of Lendup, Vijesh Iyer and Sasha Orloff, and they are making loans at 200% APR a year, and they think they're helping people. We're going to talk to them about that. Stay with us. You don't want to miss this one.
Welcome to Your Mark on the World, bringing you another changemaker with champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Vijesh, Sasha, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
This is, you guys are playing in a really challenging space. Let's be honest. There are a lot of people who are taking advantage of people in this small loan business for people who are underbanked. What makes you different, Sasha?
Well, first I want to make sure that a couple of things are aligned. One, we have a bunch of different products in market. We have credit cards, we have installment loans, and we have what you're referring to, which is the Lendup ladder, which is our alternative to payday. So if we start with what the mission of the company is, it's to provide anybody with a path to better financial health. And what that means is we want to give people an actionable path and an opportunity to save time, save money, learn better financial behavior, meaning improve their financial literacy, and when possible, give them an actionable path to improving their credit score. And so when we think about the framework of our product design within the realm of the small dollar lending or the payday lending industry, the sort of differences and the challenges will start to emerge. So when you're thinking about the payday lending industry, you're typically talking about 400 to 1,000% APR, annualized rates. You're paying the same rate day after day, month after month, week after week, month after month, year after year. There's no long-term benefit. It's not reported to the major credit bureaus. You're not saving money. You typically are going into a brick and mortar store with bulletproof glass windows, bright lights. Now, for the first time, directly from your smartphone, consumers have a different alternative where they still get access to credit. There's no debt traps, no rollovers, no refinancings. It's a very simple, transparent product directly from the mobile phone, from the convenience of their house or their free time 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Starts off at about half of the APR market. But as people take the financial literacy courses, they continue to pay on time, they engage with the product and demonstrate financial responsible behavior, their rates go down and down. They get access to more money at lower and lower rates. And there's 4 levels. In the top 2 levels, we report to all 3 of the major credit bureaus for the first time in the industry.
So, Vijesh, sometimes you guys talk about chutes and ladders. What do you mean when you talk about chutes and ladders?
Yes. So Devin, chutes and ladders is one of the critical like ladders, not chutes, which is how we talk about it, is one of the critical values of the company. And the way to think of it is consistent with our mission. We're trying to help customers get to a better financial future. So we are designing the ladder for them in such a way that the product keeps getting better. And there's an opportunity for these customers who start off with a small dollar loan, typically a $250 loan for 14 days. And through a combination of showing responsible credit behavior, learning credit education through the courses that we offer, a chance for them to emerge and work their way up the credit spectrum. And what this means is they get access over time to larger loan amounts. They get access to loans that have lower interest rates. And as Sasha mentioned, as you get into the installment rungs of our ladder, which is the platinum and the prime rungs, those products start reporting that positive credit performance to the bureaus. And what that does is it helps increase their credit score. And if you really think about what drives cost of credit in the country, it's your credit score. And so we are providing them with that ladder out of the credit score that they have today to a better credit score that leads to access to more credit and savings of hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime as their credit score improves. And so that's how we think of it, which is it's a ladder up to a better place And the reason there's no chute is because it's not like we're going to penalize them if they pay something late. So it's not like, if they were to pay a loan late, they do not go back and start at the bottom of the ladder. So there isn't a way for them to fall, but instead we support them and we help them continue to grow.
So Sasha, let's talk about that. It's a perfect segue to my next question, which is what happens when customers don't pay you?
What happens when customers don't pay us? Well, customers don't pay us a couple of things. One, there's no rollovers or refinancing fees. So I like to draw the comparison. Again, we're talking about our Lendup ladder product or payday alternative. So typically in the industry, if you're not able to pay on time, every 2 weeks, they continue to charge you the same upfront fee, that 15 to 20%. So as you are unable to pay, you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the debt cycle, the debt trap. With Lendup, there's no additional accruing fees or interest. There's no rollovers. There's no refinancings. We give you the maximum amount allowable by law. So even if you think at the time you need a loan for, say, 10 days or 14 days or 21 days, can't, and that time comes up, we give you a lot of alerts and reminders on a mobile phone, on the website. You can't make that payment. You just call and you can extend your loan. So we give you the maximum allowed by law, no fee, no other sort of additional thing. We just let you pick. And if at the end of that you can't repay, then we work with each borrower on an individual basis to find a payment plan that works for them. So let's say the original payment was going to be $250 and that doesn't work. We can break it into two $125 payments. Again, no additional fees. We just work with the borrower to find something that works within their budget at a time frame when they have the cash available. Meaning at the end of the day, we try and structure our product so that we make money when they pay us back, not when they get further into trouble, because we're trying to lend people up.
So it does seem like in the industry that there are some people who are profiteering from the failure to pay. Is that what you're seeing?
I would say that what we've tried to do is structure our business so that we succeed when our customers succeed and when we add value to their lives. And so hidden fees or debt traps or places where we win when a customer gets into trouble is whether or not that happens in the industry. I think it's pretty obvious where it does and where it doesn't. It's just not something we do here.
So are you able to take a customer who is paying late and rehab them into a productive, profitable customer over time?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? People's lives change pretty quickly. So one of the biggest problems that we're facing today as a society is this volatile income. About 60% of the country and 70% of millennials since the crash have gone from salary jobs to hourly jobs to sometimes with the gig economy, even just getting paid for the task at hand, that Lyft or that Uber ride or that TaskRabbit task. That brings in some new challenges to people. And what we've tried to do here at Lendup is really important is take in a life cycle approach to somebody's relationship. So even if they get into trouble or they get into a different types of situation, that we're not penalizing them. We might not be able to graduate them as fast as we could have if everything went smoothly. Similar to a FICO score, your number one contribution is your on-time repayment history. It just means that we can rehabilitate them, but it takes a little bit of a longer time. And that makes sense. People are going through some pretty challenging times right now. And one of the benefits of building our own technology is the ability to build solutions that really help, as their needs change, help create solutions for them.
Vijesh, do you have an example of a customer that you've helped, that you've been able to take from a struggling position to a more successful one? Could you share that example with us?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have a number of customers who have over time graduated starting from the silver, which is the first rung of our ladder, all the way up to the prime rung of our ladder. There's tens of thousands of customers who've managed to get to the prime rung of our ladder. They have access to $1,000 at that level. The APRs on those loans are sub 36%. Those loans are reporting to the credit bureaus. So we have like a number of instances of customers who've benefited from that. We've also done work with credit bureaus to try and understand how does the credit performance of a cohort of our customers compare with similar customers who probably would have gone to alternative lenders. And what we found that the customers who come with us on a cohort basis, they tend to improve their credit scores more frequently compared to a cohort of customers who did not take our loans. And the extent of increase in their credit scores is also greater than what we see in the case of other alternative lenders. So that's a really good example of how we're helping and benefiting these borrowers. And there are also a number of customer testimonials and videos that are available on our website, where we have customers who benefited from our programs writing in, sending us videos about how the products actually help them get to a better place.
Actually, I think one of the most exciting things of all of this is taking people who, again, said it before, we're paying 400 to 1,000% APR in the market, graduating through the series of the Lendup ladder. We've even had people graduate right into the credit card. So they're going from paying 400 to 1,000% APR to a $0 borrowing cost if they obviously pay their balance on time. Typical credit card, you can spend, you can borrow and credit, you get through it, and as long as you pay within the grace period, you're moving to a $0 borrowing cost. To me, that's one of the proudest, most incredible things that we've accomplished here at Lendup.
Well, it does have the potential to make a radical change in someone's life. You guys have great data. I invite you to share it. How many people, what's the proportion of people that come in at the bottom rung that work their way all the way up to the credit card with a grace period? What proportion make it?
It's hard to really answer that question in a validating way, and I understand where your frustration is. The reason is within the realm of the 56% of this country that have a credit score below 680, there's a wide variation. And so the difference between somebody that had credit, that declared bankruptcy and is in a rehabilitation, versus the difference between somebody that's just graduating college and starting off in life versus somebody that's moving to this country as an immigrant that has no credit history at all, are totally different. And so the ability to sort of show the data on an aggregate basis, I fully get it and understand. That's why we think the best response to all of the things that we're doing is letting the customers speak for themselves. So we created a whole page on our website at lendup.com/customers, and we let them tell their stories and themselves about the over 4 million loans that we've had, over $1.2 billion of credit deployed, and having them film themselves and tell their own individual stories. And so that to me is the best example of it's happening, it's meaningful, and it's totally different than anything that's ever existed before.
It sounds great. You are nonetheless in a really challenging space where people who compete with you using some of the same altruistic language talk about helping people have access to credit that don't otherwise have access to credit, and yet you and I would probably quickly agree that they're taking advantage of folks using some of the abusive practices you've described. And so it's really a challenging thing to objectively decide who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. Vijesh, what's your argument for being a good guy in this space? Right.
No, and I totally appreciate that. That's part of the challenge, right? Which is you have a number of bad actors who try to copy at least the overall story. But I think the place where it clearly breaks down for them is they are not able to execute anywhere close to what we're able to do so. And I think as Sasha mentioned, one of the key things is the customer testimonials. The second thing that we do is we look at how we score on third-party websites, like for instance endorsements through companies like at Credit Karma, where we say have ratings for our product from customers relative to the similar ratings for, other alternative lenders. And we're also partnering with a number of organizations in the space, such as the Aspen Institute, the CFSI, sharing with them information and data on what we're doing, helping them validate what we're doing, and then spread the word. Because we do think that the problem that we are dealing with or we're facing here is massive. We're talking about over 50% of the US population not having $400 to take care of themselves in an emergency. So we're dealing with a really, really big problem here, and it's going to require strong collaboration and partnership between companies like Lendup in the private sector and a number of the other nonprofits and institutions that are doing wonderful work. And it's going to take a lot of this collaboration and partnership for us to reach as many customers as we can and have a massive, massive impact. So we feel we're off to a good start here, but we're just getting started. There's a lot more that we can do here, and it's through collaboration and partnership with a number of these institutions.
Sasha, why do you want to help people?
That's a good question. I think about that stuff all the time. Honestly, I don't know. I think I've had a fairly privileged life, and I've had a lot of opportunities that I think other people haven't had. And that has given me the ability to think about how can I take some of the opportunities that I've had and then share opportunities with others. But likely the most contributing factor in the inflection point is I read this book called Banker to the Poor by Muhammad Yunus in 2001. And he would later in 2004 go on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. He started a bank in Bangladesh called the Grameen Bank. And I was so inspired that I decided to move to Honduras, to rural Honduras in Central America, and work for the Grameen Foundation, which was tasked with replicating the Grameen Bank around the world. And what the Grameen Bank did very differently was they gave small loans to poor women in rural areas of developing countries, starting in Bangladesh, and not just giving them loans, but also giving them business advice, health advice, and a lot of other sort of services to help them with their health, their financial health, their family health. And you saw that over billions of dollars, they had a really high repayment rate, a lot of loyalty. We wanted to see if we could replicate that around the world. Went down for 6 months, or what was supposed to be 6 months to Honduras, ended up being almost 3 years living throughout Latin America. And it's hard to unsee the power of what good, responsible credit can do. And when you take that and you add education to it, you're teaching somebody to be a better consumer and you're rewarding them. That's how most of the mainstream financial services industry works, but not in the fee harvester card segment, not in the payday lending industry, not in the title lending industry, not in the pawn industry. It's the same price again and again. And they make more money when customers are deeper into the opaque terms or into the shops. But it's hard to unsee the power of what Grameen could do. Then I went to the World Bank and I went to Citigroup, and now we started it. But I feel like we have an opportunity to do better. And credit, when done the right way, is just a really powerful thing.
Vijesh, what about you? What motivates you?
So a lot of it is my, if I kind of go back to the roots of my upbringing back in India, where, I've witnessed the impact that, communities that are starved for credit, it has on their lifestyle, and the fact that, they're exploited by, usury and money lenders who charge really high rates. Plus, some of the learnings from, economics and really understanding that credit is one of the big drivers of increasing human standards of, living. And so credit done well really enables people to achieve their full potential. And so I've been in the financial services and lending space for, almost 17 years now. And for me, it's a perfect marriage of bringing my expertise and things that I know how to do well to benefiting the broader community and the broader society. And recognizing that, although as a nation, we are vastly developed, and we have a really strong credit philosophy, a credit culture, it's a tale of two stories or a tale of two cities. There is a group of people who can access any form of credit at really, really good terms. But then there is over 50% of the US population that doesn't have that similar kind of access. And so it's just a sense that they should have the same set of opportunities that the remaining 50% have. That just seems the right thing and the fair thing to do. So it's this strong sense of fairness and providing equal opportunity to everyone and being able to contribute through skills that I have to making the world a better place. I think that's a lot of what kind of drives me.
Sasha, what do you need to scale up a lot? As big and successful as you've been, you're still relatively small compared to Citigroup or Wells Fargo. Interesting, as we're recording this today, more news about what a great, all of the ethical behavior at Wells Fargo. So we don't have to go all the way to payday lenders to look at questionable ethics. But how do you scale up from here? A lot.
I think that one of the most exciting times about right now and about what the media is able to cover and deliver is we're seeing the start of a movement. And that movement is around creating awareness that there is one of the largest unequal distributions of wealth ever in the United States. And that since the recovery, there's the most volatile incomes we've ever experienced. And the jobs that are adding are getting more and more refined to favor businesses and not favor people. You're getting salaried and benefits to hour, to getting paid for the minutes that you're doing some specific task. That is a challenge. And I think that we've finally opened up as a nation and as in different industries to say there's a lot of challenges that need to be addressed head on. And so in order to scale, I think the first thing that needs to happen is we need to have this movement become an awareness that a lot of the media and technology and finance are controlled in pockets of New York, Connecticut, DC, Boston, San Francisco, where the economy is pretty strong and resilient and flowing really good. But a lot of this country aren't facing the same things. And so we need to be okay admitting that this is the reality and that we need to make a change. And that if our system is working really well for 44% of the country and it's not working really well for 56% of the country, that something has to change. So then how does that lead to directly to your question? I think making people feel comfortable that this movement is happening, that subprime is a number associated with a person and the subprime practices of 2008 are not defensible, but we still have these people that are left behind. And we need to change our mindset about how to serve them and how to think about what the opportunity is that helps them get to a better place in life. And so the reason why I'm excited about this interview and other interviews is creating a broader awareness that this movement has started and that we need the support of a lot of different players, from the press, from the regulators, from the financial markets, but the customer demand is there and they're hungry for good products. And they'll tell people about it. Look at our website. They're filming themselves talking about how appreciative they are. They're posting high ratings on our product against everybody else on public forums like Credit Karma. And so all of these things need to come together. There isn't a silver bullet. It takes all of us to come together to say this is a problem that we want to solve. And I think we're just at the start of a movement that's going to say this is something we need to solve, and we very much plan to lead the pack here.
Vijesh, movement aside, is capital a constraint for you, or do you have all the capital you need?
More capital. I can answer that. More capital. We can build a much bigger business with more capital. If you guys are interested, if you're interested in getting part of this movement, come talk to us. We need more capital. We can build as big a business as they come. We're capital constrained.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're in the business of lending money, you'll never have enough capital, right? You'll always want more capital. And I think the story for people who are out there who have capital that they'd like to invest, here's an opportunity to invest in a company where you can make a decent return and you can also feel good that you're contributing back and you're making a difference and you're helping make this a more equal and fairer country. So that is, I think, the key message, and getting that message out, getting people to understand and realize that, I think, is what's going to help this spread. And I feel the greater the success that companies like this have, I think it's going to bring more players into the system, because I do think a lot of folks tend to stay away from working in this sector because it's difficult, it's complicated. And I'm hopeful that, success for companies like us brings in more entrants, and that's how the movement spreads.
Well, I really appreciate both of you taking the time to be with us today. Sasha, quickly before you go, why don't you tell us how people can learn more about Lendup and how they can connect with you and Dijesh personally?
Well, I'm a big fan. If somebody wants to learn more about this industry and the challenges that real Americans are facing, there's a book called The Unbanking of America by Lisa Servan, and it is one of the best written books that provide a true, honest, accurate portrayal of American life from a professor at Wharton who has written this great book. And then afterwards, they go, oh my God, how do I get involved in contributing towards the success? And if they're customers, they just go to lendup.com/impact to see some of the impact. They go to lendup.com just in general, and they can see some of the different products, how they're structured, why we do them. And if they're just like, I have a lot of capital and I want to get involved and get invested, they send an email to sasha@lendup.com, SASHA@lendup.com, and we'll get back to you.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. We wish you every success in doing good as bankers.
Yeah, thank you, Devin. Appreciate your time. Nice to meet
you.
All
right, let's do some.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was recorded via Google Hangouts on Air and is available at youtube.com/Devin Thorpe. Subscribe to this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes by searching for Your Mark on the World. Every weekday, Devin hosts a CEO, celebrity, entrepreneur, or other changemaker here on the Your Mark on the World show to inspire and prepare you to make your mark. Devin is a champion of social good, writing about, advocating for, and advising people who are doing good. He is a Forbes contributor who is a recognized thought leader in social entrepreneurship, impact investing, and crowdfunding. To book Devin as a speaker, visit devinthorpe.com. Learn more about Devin's work at yourmarkontheworld.com.